Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our lunchtime webinar today on this lovely sunny Wednesday. My name is Jean Gilligan, and I'm the Head of Business Development in the Online Flexible and Professional Development Department here in ATU, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. So the webinar is scheduled to last about 45 minutes, and we're going to cover our part-time, online and blended programs around the area of engineering in the built environment. As part of the webinar, there is a Q&A box available for you to type in any questions that you might have during the session. And we have a team of advisors there in the background that's going to be managing those questions as they come in and addressing them for you. And there may be an opportunity at the end for those questions to be addressed to the different panel members. So the session is also being recorded, and a link for the webinar will be sent out to you via email after the session is finished. So you're going to be able to watch it back in your own time. And we also have it available for you on our YouTube channel. So I'd like to start by welcoming our panelists. And so today we have Anne Bonner. So Anne is the Head of Department of Civil Engineering and Construction. You're welcome, Anne. We have Dr. Irene Hayden, Programme Chair of the Masters in Built Environment Regulation. We have Dr. Emmett Kerr, Head of Department of Electronic and Mechanical Engineering. And we have Daniel Clarke-Hagan, Programme Chair for the BSc Honours in Construction Project Management. So thank you all for joining us today. But we also have one of our graduates, so Mark Flannery, who's the Fire Prevention Officer with the HSC West, is joining us, and Mark is going to chat to us about his experiences in undertaking a part-time programme here in ATU. So thank you, Mark, for taking the time to join us. So let's start by looking at the agenda for today's webinar. So we've begun by welcoming everyone to the event, and we're going to focus really our time on our part-time programmes in engineering and the built environment. So we have Dr. Irene Hayden, who's going to talk to us about some of the programmes available through the Galway Mayo campus, with a spotlight on particular programmes that may be of interest to you. Then Dr. Emmett Kerr and Anne Bonner will focus on the programmes delivered from the Donegal campus, before Daniel Clarke-Hagan introduces some of the programmes on offer through the Sligo campus. But it is important to note that for programmes that are delivered online, the campus location really doesn't matter. We're one ATU, we're one university, and so if you're studying on an online programme, the location aspect really, isn't of significance. We have students both nationally and internationally on these programmes. And then we're going to speak to Mark. So we're going to speak to Mark about his experience studying part-time and masters, studying the masters in the built environment regulation. Apologies, Mark. And then I'm going to take you through some steps on applying for your program. So let's start. Apologies, my mouse isn't working that awfully well. There we go. So let's start by talking to you a little bit about ATU. So ATU is the Atlantic Technological University, for those of you that mightn't be familiar with this. So ATU was formed a little over 3 years ago as part of a merger of LYIT, so Letterkenny IT, IT Sligo and GMIT. And since then, St. Angela's have also come on board. So we now have 9 campuses from all of these colleges. And we're based from the west coast right up to the top of the northwest coast of Ireland. So you can see that depicted there on the slide. And each of those campuses are marked there with a little orange dot. So you can see also on the slide, we have almost 27,000 students enrolled across our campuses, and there are over 550 programs on offer. So today we're focusing on the part-time, the online, the blended programs in, as we said, the area of engineering in the built environment. But in our portfolio of part-time programs, we have over 477 programs currently on offer and open for application. So there's a wide range of programs available in ATU for anyone that's wishing to upskill on a part-time basis. These programs, they're delivered in 8 different discipline areas that we can see there. We do have other webinars scheduled in the coming months for some of these discipline areas, and I have a slide later on that's telling you about which ones. So you may have colleagues that you work with that would be interested in other areas, and we have other webinars that will hopefully meet their needs. The ATU has over 2,000 staff, so 2,253 staff across the university, and they're all working to ensure that our students' needs are met and that everyone benefits from their time studying in ATU and they have a good student experience. Apologies about my mouse, it's a little bit slow. So some of the benefits, just to talk to you a little bit about some of the benefits of flexible learning. In today's uh, work environment of world of work, it's important to keep up to date on new and emerging technologies. We know the world of work is constantly evolving, and jobs that are currently being recruited for may be very different in 5 or 10 years' time. So it's important to invest in ourselves and give ourselves every opportunity in this competitive jobs market. So by specialising in a discipline, we're demonstrating a commitment to that area, an interest in progressing in that area or sector, and it gives you an advantage in a job interview over someone who maybe hasn't specialised in that area. So you're recognised as being, more knowledgeable or an expert in that area. Um, the flexibility, and we'll talk about flexibility today, by which that you can upskill means that continuous professional development is more accessible than ever. People can study completely online at a time that suits themselves with their work-life balance. They can study through blended format. They may have classes online, but they'll also have opportunities to have classes on campuses, or workshops or labs, and meet with their class, mates that way. So it's a kind of a mix of learning. We have work-based learning opportunities. We have micro-credentials, which allow people to upskill in a particular area of interest or a particular piece of knowledge, bite-sized piece of knowledge that they want. So there's opportunities for upskilling and for facilitating kind of continuous professional development that weren't available a number of years ago. There's lots of opportunities for people, and they're available for everybody. So there's lots of benefits to flexible learning, to being able to learn in your own time, to be able to upskill in something that you have had a particular interest in and may have felt wasn't, achievable for you based on your working environment. There really is something available for everybody now, and I mentioned 477 programs, so that just shows you the whole extent of programs and the delivery modes and the opportunity for you to progress. Within the engineering and computing area, of those 477 programs, there are 143 of them. 84 of those are delivered online, 42 are blended, 42 are on campus, and 7 are online or on campus. So there's an opportunity to study whichever way suits you. We have programs from level 6 right through to level 9. So for people who may not be familiar with the NFL or NFQ qualification levels, a leaving certificate would be a level 5 qualification. So a level 6 is kind of your first step on the ladder with regards to third level university. So for a lot of our programs, they may be, because they're part-time, delivering 30 credits in a year. If you were a full-time student coming to university, you would generally do 60 credits in a year. But we have opportunities for people to progress right through from level 6 right through to level 9, which is a master's level. And people can step on and off the ladder. They can get a level 6 qualification, work for a number of years, decide to come back to education to level 7. We have lots of opportunities for people to step on and step off that ladder, and to maybe do a 1-year certificate as opposed to a full award, and come back and add to that to then get their full award. With regards to departments, there's 59 programs in civil engineering and construction, there's 37 in electrical and mechanical, 47 in computing, and 78 in micro-credentials. So as I mentioned, there are other webinars coming up. Computing will be dealt with in another webinar in early June. So I suppose that's a little bit of background to ATU, to the length and breadth of programs that we have on offer, and our experience to date. So I'm going to go now to Irene and let Irene speak about some of the programs that she'd like to focus and spotlight that were delivered through the Galway campus. So Irene, would you like to come in?
I will. Thank you so much, Jean. That's great. So yes, I work as a lecturer for the last 20 years in the Department of Building and Civil Engineering in ATU Galway City. And we have expanded our programme offerings into the lifelong learning space over the last number of years. So delighted to be able to outline just a couple of the different areas that are available for part-time study. And some of these are, as you say, mixed mode. So they could be on campus, they could be blended, or some are just wholly on learning online. So the study areas in the area of civil engineering and construction, which would be my background area, we have quite a nice suite of higher diploma, level 8 program in BIM, Building Information Modelling, and that progresses into a master's program, Masters in Science in the BIM space and BIM leadership. We also have civil engineering program, which bridges the gap between the legacy IoTs, and where they're recognised for chartership. There's a gap between that and maybe a university level. So we have a level 8 program, which is based on qualifications of experience and mapping that to the requirements for Engineers Ireland to bridge the gap to go towards chartership. And so it's a lovely course, really well written, and kind of the first, I think, of its kind across the country. So again, there's a nice uptake there, really to give a learning pathway for civil engineering students to progress with ongoing studies and to move towards chartership in a comfortable, managed way. The Building Information Modelling and Digital Leadership, as I say, is the level 9 offering suite, and I think there's a number of different offerings culminating in a master's. The Built Environment Regulation program is a master's program. That's the one I teach on, and it actually has 5 embedded major and minor awards and 7 micro-credentials within that. And it is as flexible as we can possibly manage, and hats off to the department who run it, because it's a minefield at the best of times to manage it, but it seems to be going from strength to strength. So I'll talk a little bit more about that maybe in the next slide. The circular economy is another area of expertise that some of my colleagues, Dr. Mark Kelly, for example, Dr. John Scahill, Dr. Shane Newell, are leading experts in the country, dare I say, European-wide or further afield in the circular economy. So they have designed a lovely master's program with embedded exit awards on the circular economy for the built environment, so for construction, that kind of area. The Energy Conservation and Environmental Services is one of the minor awards within the Masters in Built Environment Regulation, as is our Certificate in Fire Safety. It's just an introduction, really, course. Both of those are at level 9, and I'll talk again at length, I suppose, in the next slide for that. Across our colleagues in the other departments, so we currently have industrial and mechanical as 2 separate departments, and there's changes afoot there. But for the most part, in the postgraduate space, we have a lot of really good offerings, and we have quite a lot of people coming in on these programs. They're all at different levels, so I could just read the list out there: automation and digital manufacturing, automation and robotics, advanced manufacturing systems, design and innovation. That's a master's program in design for engineers, especially in the mechanical space, but not precluding any other engineers who are so inclined, in industrial engineering and so on. Heat pump installation, commissioning, maintenance and servicing, again, a very popular postgraduate program there. So well worth having a look at if that's your area of expertise. I couldn't comment much more on those, unfortunately, because I wouldn't know a whole lot about them. And within each of them, so across civil engineering, construction and mechanical and manufacturing, we have micro-credentials on offer as well. So they may be a module within a larger course that are listed here, and the module can be anything from 5 credits up to 30 ECTS credits, which is a decent amount of learning. Could I get the next slide, please? Thanks. Thanks, Jane. Okay, so just a spotlight on the programme that I'm lecturing on. I'm the programme chair on the Masters in Built Environment Regulation. We started the programme 2.5 years ago with a new cohort of students. Initially, I think we had 26 students for the first year on the programme. Up to Christmas time, we had the guts of about 68 students on the programme, simply because of the flexible delivery pathways that are there. Not every student continues to do the full Masters programme, but quite a few have done. And we are getting students on the programme coming from local authority, maybe working in the housing section, working in building control. We're also getting people from private practice as well, so engineering consultancies. We have architects, quite a number of architectural technologists who are starting to do the course as well. And we're also noticing, well, I'm noticing anyway, people who are used to learning online at undergraduate level post-pandemic, they're actually more inclined to favour these sort of programmes because it allows them to continue working and to develop their careers while gaining further education. So there's a lot of the drivers for people to do this type of program are coming from that need to continuously upskill, which is driven by industry and adjudicated by professional bodies like Engineers Ireland, construction, the CABE group, and this whole program suite is actually accredited with CABE. So they're the Chartered Association of Building Engineers, CIOB, CIAT, all of the professional bodies really have continual professional practice requirement for a number of hours per year. So this helps meet that requirement from an education perspective. The part-time route is the most popular route for the master's program. It takes 2.5 years simply because it is done in a measured way so that you can continue working. The classes are delivered in the evenings between 5 and 8 p.m. If you're doing it part-time, it's 2 evenings a week just during the term time. So there's breaks at Christmas, at Easter, and a large summer break, similar to the academic calendar you'd have at undergraduate level. And the modules are delivered predominantly online. There's a lot of engagement of peer-to-peer learning. So we encourage everyone who does the course to start chatting with each other and with the lecturers. We also get a lot of guest lecturers in to talk about their area that they might be specialising in. And we're always encouraging more guest lecturers to come on board as well. And that really does drive the programme to keep everything as current and as fit for purpose as possible. And quite a lot of people are coming from industry with, not just people finishing at undergraduate level and continuing on to do postgraduate part-time. They're actually coming in to progress their careers, and they may be coming into the course with 5 to 30 years work experience and have a lot of really valuable insights and really useful information which they share among the classroom in the online setting. We also meet on campus wherever we can get people to join us on campus, and at the moment we're delivering that on a Saturday, so it's one Saturday per semester per module, to get everyone to meet in person, face to face, and to meet your lecturers and to go through troubleshooting, tutorials, project work. The majority of the assessments on the course are as sensible and as measured as we could possibly do in this context, while still meeting the requirements at a level 9 standard. So it's all applied, it's all authentic kind of applied learning. We have negotiated an agreement with the National Building Control Office to be able to access the building control management system in the background and to be able to simulate uploads of fire safety certificates, access certificates, commencement notices. So we're allowed to basically practice in a safe environment what's required in industry on an everyday thing. This is bread and butter work for people, and it doesn't actually get taught a whole lot, perhaps in industry, until you get into your working life. So it's a lovely way to combine that early learning, for the first 1 to 3 years post undergraduate qualification, and apply it in a meaningful way and get it tutored and assessed. So we do encourage our students to use live projects if they can, if they've got permission from the homeowners or building owners, or their employers, for example, and then kind of try and think critically at a level 9 standard, really what we need to do in this context to expand what we're doing, to make it better, to make things safer for those in industry, and to kind of push the boundaries of where we are in terms of our understanding of competence of regulation compliance, both on an individual or a global level, on a national level, and break it down into its component parts. So you can see the semester 9 and 10 offerings in year 1 and 2 do actually outline, generally speaking, broad areas, the technical guidance documents, but they're not precluding anything else. They actually go into much beyond prima facie compliance where time allows on each module. And we look at, with the critical mindset, at all of those things and look at what's being done in practice, what should be required possibly to make it better, and streamlining things to make it, at least more convenient, more familiar, and to have that responsibility from the outset. As I say, you can see for the key, the legend, if you like, on the right-hand side there are a number of different offerings. So within the entirety of the master's program, there are 2 certificates. There's one postgraduate certificate and then a postgraduate diploma. So if you're not so inclined to do a mini thesis or dissertation, you may just want to do the learnings, the postgraduate diploma may be one that you could look at in more detail. And my details are up on the website. So you can always email me and we can have a Teams call if you want to ask any more questions. Within that too, we have our micro-credentials, which are hugely popular, especially the fire offerings, because it just allows people just to get their brushing, of their upskills, and you dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that what they're doing is current and fit for purpose in their professional practice, in their day-to-day job. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide. Thanks very much, Jean.
Lovely. Before we move on, Irene, because I think we're moving on to somebody else next. My mouse is running away on me there. I mentioned earlier, I suppose, the ladder system and about people stepping on and stepping off. And I think that built environment regulation is a really good example of that for people. So if they don't want to sign up for the full masters in the 2.5 years, they can, as you say, sign up for the postgraduate cert and do their 30 credits, leave studying for a year or two and come back and build on that to the postgrad diploma or to the master's. So it's a really good example of just, where we step on and step off. So I just thought I might highlight that. So
Yeah.
thank you, Irene. So I think we're moving on now to Anne. Is Anne coming in to talk about some of the programs in Donegal?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Irene. Sorry.
Thanks, Irene. So I'm head of Department of Civil Engineering and Construction here at ATU Donegal, and the other engineering department here is the Department of Electronic and Mechanical Engineering. So basically what I'll do is I'll talk about the study areas in civil engineering construction first, then I'll pass you on to my colleague, Dr. Emmett Kerr, who'll talk about the electronic and mechanical options, and then I'll do a subject focus then on fire safety engineering, as it is probably the biggest area for online flexible learning. So essentially there, what we have is we have some courses are blended, which means you have to come on campus at some point on the course. We have online courses and we have on-campus courses. So for the blended, the main course, I suppose, would be courses in fire safety engineering, which, as I said, I will discuss in more detail. And typically say, for example, the BSc Honours Fire Safety Engineering, it's online apart from labs once a year, and examinations are held on campus, right? So another course that we have is a diploma or a BSc in construction practice, which is on campus 3 days a week with an online element to it. We have on the online courses, we have a BSc Honours in Construction Contracts Management. Again, this has been a very successful funded program that's been running for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's totally online apart from examinations are held on campus, as I said. So it's popular from people in a wide variety of backgrounds who want to up skills in construction management and in contracts management in particular. We have a certificate in Revit and 4D BIM, which also includes building energy performance, and it runs over an academic year, totally online, again, very popular. And we also offer an applied fire safety management certificate that runs a short course that runs from January to March. So they're the online and the blended courses. Then there's always an option of coming on campus and doing a part-time course and taking individual modules or modules that form a certificate. Like we have a certificate in renewable energy and physics fundamentals, where the applicants can come in one semester to do renewable energy module and the next semester to do a physics module, or vice versa. Likewise, we have introductory construction economics and land surveying, where students come on campus one afternoon or one morning a week. Initially, they do measurement and construction economics, and then the second semester they do land surveying and GIS. So that just gives an overview of the flexible and online courses, part-time courses that we have. So if Emmett is there, maybe Emmett, you could talk about your course, and then I'll come back to talk about fire safety engineering.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Sometimes my microphone plays up.
We're good, Emmett, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So my department's electronic and mechanical engineering. I'm head of department there. And I suppose there's a couple of courses that I'd like to mention. Just our engineering management course is currently not online. We are looking at the viability of doing that online, but it can be done in part-time mode. So you can come on campus and complete the modules as requested. So we typically work with part-time persons and try to keep it to like 1 day on campus for some modules to work through that at a part-time rate. And that's a full master's MSc level 9 in engineering management. Then our electric vehicle technology is a BSc course, and it's typically taught online. It's typically done through Springboard. We're just waiting on the funding call. We've applied again to run that through Springboard. We're hopeful that that'll be funded again. And it's similar to what Anne mentioned on one of her courses. It's primarily taught online, but with 2 on-campus days. for the practical element of that. So there's quite a bit of practical element within that, as you can imagine, with electric vehicles. We have purchased an electric vehicle within the department, so you come on campus and you actually work hands-on on the technologies that would be, you know, prevalent in that field. So it's really, really important that we believe that people get a really practical aspect. Likewise with the part-time element and even any online classes in the engineering management, they're all very practical focused, and you'll be using the latest softwares and analysis techniques and stuff like that. There is one other micro-credential in Power Dynamics as well that we are running again from next January. It's a level 5 module, and it's fully taught online, similar to the technology, the electric vehicle. It's online, but it's 2 on-campus sessions. So it's like 3 hours on 2 Saturdays to come in and work on some of the real technology that you'd be using. So my details are online as well. So if you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out and we can discuss further if you're interested in any of the courses. Thank you. Back to Anne for your spotlight.
Thank you, Anne.
Okay,
Emmett?
so if we pick a spotlight, then we're looking at fire safety engineering. In Donegal, we do have a 4-year ab initio BEng honours fire safety engineering full-time course, or 3-year full-time course for a BEng in fire safety engineering, right? So they're aimed primarily at school leavers. So what we have realised over the years is the focus now has moved on to online and part-time study for a lot of people in industry. We find there's huge demand for people to do fire safety engineering, and they're all keen to get on the ladder and get on to do the course that they need to do to get, whether it's to get advancements in their careers or personal qualifications or whatever they want, right? So we're trying to offer all of the options now at the different levels. So primarily what we have is what we've been running online for the last 4 or 5 years is the BSc Honours in Fire Safety Engineering. And it's part-time blended, level 8, 1 calendar year, 2 evenings a week, plus labs in block, right? So it starts in September, it runs to the following September. Online classes are 2 evenings a week, and then at the end of November or December, each student comes on campus for 2 days to complete labs. And the examinations at the end of 10-week blocks or throughout the year are on campus as well. And by on campus, we offer them either in Letterkenny or on Galway. Right, so that's the BSc Honours in Fire Safety Engineering. From this September, we hope to also offer a BSc in Fire Safety Engineering. So it's similar, but the offering is at level 7, because what we found is there's an awful lot of people trying to get on the level 8, but they don't have the requirements, or they don't have a level 7 already or a cognate degree that would enable them to get directly onto the level 8 BSc Honours in Fire Safety Engineering. So what the level 7 in Fire Safety Engineering will do, well, it will get them to an ordinary degree level, and if they want, then they can progress on to the honours degree after that. And it has been approved, but we're hoping to run it now from September. As well as that, from September, we hope to run a new Masters of Engineering in Fire Safety Engineering. So that's a full Masters, it's 90 credits. So typically it will run full-time on campus for 1.5 academic years, or that's 3 semesters, 2.5 days a week. Or there will be an option to complete it part-time. So it will take longer. It'll be 2.5 to 3 academic years. And instead of doing 2 days lectures plus labs a week, you'll be doing 1 day lectures plus the labs in a block. So that's, as I said, starting from September. Aligned with that then, to give people the option of not completing a whole master's or not doing 90 credits, there will be an option of doing a postgraduate certificate in fire safety engineering. So that's 30 ECTS, and typically would be 1 day a week plus labs in block, or postgraduate diploma in fire safety engineering, which would be the equivalent of the 2 semesters, and do it 1 day a week plus the labs in block. So we also then have a certificate in applied fire safety management. This is something we've been running for a number of years, and it just gives people an introduction really to the whole fire safety. And it's for people, I suppose, who aren't engineers or don't have an engineering role, but have a fire safety perspective to their role, like they might be facilities managers in a factory or in a retail building or so on. So it gives them an introduction to fire safety engineering, and that runs on a 3-day block and then 1 evening a week for 8 weeks from the beginning of the year. right? So that's just a summary of what's available. And as I said, a lot of people are coming into fire safety at different levels, and we hope to cater for them at level 7, 8, and 9 from September. Okay, thank you.
Lovely. So there's lots of different options there, and for anybody. So, depending, as you say, from level 7 right through to level 9, and how much time they want to invest in it. So, thank you, Anne. So lastly, from an academic side, we have Daniel Clarke-Hagan. So Daniel, would you like to speak about the offerings in Sligo?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Um, yeah, we offer quite a range now. It doesn't matter what your kind of field of expertise within the engineering or the built environment. We will have something there that suits you. We've been working with industry over the past number of years and developing new courses like the property services and facilities management and water and wastewater operations. We work closely with industry just to make sure that everything is up to date and we're meeting what industry wants and sending out graduates with the latest in technical and the skills appropriate for industry. Um, we offer a range of courses from level 6 to level 9 and actually to level 10 now as well. So you can start with a level 6, perhaps do something in digital construction technology. That's a level 6 of the construction site management is a level 6. If you were to do both of those, instead of having 2 level 6s, you would then be given a level 7 in construction management. Of course, once you have your level 7, you can go on and do your level 8 and so on. So we have quite a range, and all those courses, or most, are accredited by Engineers Ireland or the CIOB or the SCSI or a combination of any of them. Sorry, can I get the next slide?
Yep.
Thanks. So this is our mechanical as well and our mechatronic. We offer quite a few courses across this, and the likes of automation and automatic controls and robotics. We also now, the Lean Sigma quality has started to prove really popular, and Lean between the yellow belts, the green belts, and up to the black belt, the advanced Lean Sigma quality and our quality assurance. So as you can see, we have a great number of courses across just about every aspect of the built environment and through into manufacturing. And of course, if you have any questions on any of this, please just email me. My email, I think, is on the next slide here, and I can answer any queries that you'll have on any of these. Could I have the next slide? Now, this would be the course I would be program chair for. I know we're talking online, but this actually started off many years ago as a 1-year full-time course. We still offer it as a one-time full-time course, but then we developed it as a 2-year online. Now, with this course, it is accredited by the CIOB and the SCSI, and in fact, even last year, we won the Irish Construction Excellent Award for the best online programme in Ireland. So we're really quite proud of that. Again, we work closely with industry in this course. We do have quite a few guest lecturers come in on different modules. So this course, as you can see from the modules, it's not just primarily about project management. You will leave with a good understanding of the business process and the business environment as well. So that's why we offer things like construction corporate management, construction planning program, construction contracts. So you get not just how to manage projects, but a good understanding and a good knowledge of how a business operates or how a company operates at both national and an international level. So the way this course runs, you have two 10-credit modules that you'll do in year 1 and in year 2. So your first semester would be, for example, construction law, construction corporate management, and digital construction technology. Your second semester then would be digital construction technology, construction contracts, dispute resolution, and then international construction. Then year 2, which would then be your third semester, you would start off with your dissertation. This is quite a chunk of work. It does require quite a bit of work, but you will have supervisor. I will be there to help you along the way. You will have a dedicated supervisor to help you along the way. So you'll do that with your project appraisal and your construction planning at the start of the second year. Then in your final semester, you'll finish off with your dissertation and do then your lean principles and project management with it. What has been done in the past, just to allow a bit more flexibility, some students have said, they'll extend it out to 3 years and defer the dissertation and concentrate on it, on its own in the third year. So we do try and build as much flexibility into the course to accommodate. Look, we fully realise students, they're not just students, they're working, they have families, they're trying to come home from work and attend lectures and feed kids, lead a life as well. So we are fairly flexible in how we offer these things. Again, if you want any more information on it, my email's there at the bottom of the page. Please feel free to email me. I'll answer any emails, but if you need to set up a Teams meeting or anything with me, that's no problem at all. And again, the name is probably a bit of a misnomer. We do look at, the construction industry. It is construction project management, but really, you'll be equipped to work in project management in any field, be it energy, utilities, telecoms, production and design, research and design, the pharmaceutical industry, anything like that. At the end of the day, a project has a start, a finish, and a timeline. So this isn't just for construction project managers. It's for anybody interested in project management. So if you've anything else you want to ask, please feel free.
Yeah, Daniel, just one thing I want to point out, because I'm just conscious of it, and we had mentioned before, just at the bottom, your email address is there. There's an E missing, isn't there, in the Clarke-Hagan?
No, that is my email address.
That is your email address.
When I first formed
okay.
the email address, they left out the from the name, and no amount of persuasion has ever convinced anybody in IT to put it back in.
That's okay.
So that is the correct email address.
Perfect,
it's just my name and the email address are different. It does get confusing.
That's okay. Just so anyone wants to contact you, that they have the correct email address.
Yeah,
that's important.
Perfect. Thanks.
I suppose one of the main takeaways really from everybody from an academic side that spoke is the fact that flexibility, and you mentioned it there about people maybe pushing out their degree to 3 years, and how we try to accommodate people as best as we can, because we are very conscious that people have working lives, have other commitments as family, as you mentioned. So we try our best to accommodate people and to be as flexible as we can. So thank you, Daniel.
No problem at all. Thanks.
Lovely. So now we're going to move on to Mark. So thank you so much, Mark, for taking the time to join us today. Mark is the Fire Prevention Officer with HSE West and has studied, as I mentioned, the degree there that we've just talked about, or the master. So Mark, would you like to talk to us a little bit about your motivation for studying and for undertaking this postgraduate course with ATU?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, look, I realized at an early stage that I needed to of the building regulations and the challenges faced with modern infrastructure. And that was the motivation for me to pursue the master's course. And when I looked at the different modules, the fire safety, the energy conservation, the access and use, building regulations, all those areas I was keen on a personal level to explore in more depth. I suppose for me, the decision has not only broadened my technical skills, but also probably strengthened my ability to approach projects holistically, balancing structural requirements with social and environmental responsibilities.
So how has that impacted on your career, Mark?
I suppose the biggest thing was going back to my goal. My goal was to build a foundation, and as a result of doing the course, I've taken on more responsibility in roles involved in regulatory review and compliance, and it's making my decision making more versatile and better positioned to give their proper advice.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe, or for people who are considering undertaking a course, a little bit about your experience of doing it? I'm conscious that you were working at the same time, so maybe some of your experience might be helpful for somebody who's maybe sitting on the fence and not sure whether they have the time or are able to commit to something.
Okay, well, I guess as all the academics have said, the course is very flexible. I give you my example. My year one, I done one of the modules for the first semester. I done a second module on the second semester. So in year two, I went for the master's program. I was doing 3 or 4 modules from September to December, and then continued on from January to May. But the course is, I can't emphasize enough how flexible the course is. But I suppose the key one would be as well is regards taking the advice from the lecturers and also from your fellow students. And as Irene mentioned earlier, a lot of them are professional people that come from civil engineering, local authority, all that. So if you engage with them, their insights is just as invaluable as the course contents that would be delivered.
And would you have any advice for anybody, Mark, that might be considering studying now?
My advice would be is, go for it. The course is fabulous. I keep going back to flexibility. You're working, you have family, as Daniel said. It's getting that balance right. And for me and for my fellow students that were on the course, they would all agree with that synopsis of it.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mark, and thanks for taking the time to come to talk to us. I'm conscious of time, so I'm just going to move a little bit on because I'd like to let people know how they actually go about applying. Apologies, my mouse is running away again on me. So I suppose for anyone, thank you again, Mark, but for anyone who's seen a program that you're interested in or that you're wondering maybe about how you apply, everything is available, all that information is available for you on our website, the ATU website. And if you want to go to atu.ie flexible, you'll see that whole list of programs that are available to you. We've mentioned 477, and you can see there, as we talked about, how programs can be actually broken down to certs, postgrad diplomas, to masters, and how there is that ladder system for you to be able to apply. Applications are open now on the system. They opened in February, and they're open until the 15th of August. However, there are some programs that have capacity limits on them, and I'm conscious that some of these programs will fill quickly and may close before that date of the 15th of August. So my advice would be to, if you're considering applying to a program, to do it and to do it sooner rather than later, and get through the process quicker as well. So all of the information is available on the course web pages. There is an apply now button on that web page that you will submit your application to. The information on the program page includes everything about your eligibility criteria, what you need to be eligible for that program. If you don't meet the eligibility criteria, we have a thing called RPL or RPEL, so it's recognition of prior learning or recognition of prior experiential learning, and it is a review of the experience that you've gained in your working life to see how you can bridge that gap. So RPL is also a consideration for people when they're looking at the entry requirements for a program. You'll be asked to complete the application form. That's an online application form on the system, and you may be asked to upload some documents as part of that. So some programs ask for CV, some ask for transcripts from your previous qualifications, and they are all academically assessed, and then offers are issued out then to the applicants. And we won't register students until maybe early August time. Programs will commence on the week of the 15th of September, and we have online induction then on the week before that, which is the 8th of September. So, you know, if you have any questions about applying, if you put them in the Q&A box, we'll address them for you. But all applications are made online through our website on the program pages, and there's lots of information there for you, as I said, about eligibility criteria, about fees, about potential funding mechanisms there, and the modules that are delivered as part of each of those programs. I've briefly mentioned RPL or RPEL. So it's a formal process to identify all of that experience that you've gained through your working life, and to see how it can help you to bridge a gap from one level of program to another level of program. And we have RPL coordinators within the university who'll help you with any RPL application that you have to make, and to gather the information that you need to gather to show that you have that experience and knowledge and understanding of a topic to be able to progress to the next level. There are a variety of different funding mechanisms available to you. SkillNet, there are over 71 SkillNet in Ireland, and there are SkillNets that are specific to sectors, and then there's more general ones like some of the chambers. If there's SkillNet funding available for your program, it's printed on the bottom of your web page for that program. There's also DASB funding, and I have a slide or two on that. Springboard, the micro-credentials, and SUSI. Springboard has been mentioned a couple of times there. I know Emmett mentioned it. At the moment, we're waiting for confirmation of what programs are going to be funded by Springboard for this September. That information should be available on the Springboard website by the end of May, we hope. With Springboard, it's important that you apply early, because the HEA fund a defined number of places on every programme, and it's important you get in early to be considered for those places. So it's a really good initiative. At level 6, programs are fully funded. From level 7 to 9, if you're employment, they are 90% funded, and so you only have to pay 10% of those fees. They're one-year part-time programs only. They're all starting in September this year. But it is a really good way to start your learning journey and to be able to see, you know, opportunities for you for progression. So Springboard is something I would recommend. I would say to go onto the Springboard website now at springboardcourses.ie and create an account on it, so you'll get a notification of when programs open for applications at the end of May, because it is important you apply early. We have some funding for micro-credentials and SUSI, so I'll just move on just to mention. So DASB is a hub for construction professionals to upskill, and it offers a range of subsidised courses. So in energy efficiency, circular economy, and digital skills. So it's a digital platform which will enable training in the sustainable built environment, and it links users to other relevant training courses. And there's a QR code there in the bottom right hand side there that will direct you towards some of those DASB courses, and they're listed here as well. I know there's 2 slides listing some of those DASB funded courses. These slides will be issued to you in the email along with the watchback, so I'm not going to go through everything because I am conscious we have actually gone over time. But these are some of the programs that are funded by DASB, and you can find out by clicking on that QR code. You can find out more information on those. We have an alumni scholarship scheme as well within the university, and that provides a 20% fee reduction for ATU alumni. So that includes people who are from, you know, graduated from IT Sligo, LYIT and GMIT, not just since we became a university, and they're eligible for 20% fee reduction if you're enrolling on a taught level 9 master's program with 90 credits at any ATU campus. The applications for that have to be submitted by 12 noon on Friday, August 15th. And there are some more information there through that link that's at the bottom of the website. You can also download our prospectus where all 477 programs are listed. So this QR code will provide you access to that. And it's just a list of the programs. It doesn't provide as much information as you'll get on the website. But if you want to have a view of a list of all the programs that we have, it's very useful for that. Events coming up, I mentioned there were other webinars, so we have webinars running right through until July, education, business, computing, design, arts and humanities, and sports and nutrition. And we will have a funded courses one, which will include information on funding such as Springboard. And you can register your interest. So thank you everybody for attending our webinar today, for giving up your lunch hour in the sunshine, but I'm sure it was very valuable for you to find out more information about the programs on offer in engineering and built environment. So I really hope that the session has been helpful for you. I'd like to thank Mark particularly for taking his time to tell us about his experiences as a student studying with us part-time and how it's been able to help him with his career. So I hope that's been really beneficial for you. And to all my panelists and colleagues here in ATU, thank you for letting us know about the programs that you have on offer in your area. These webinars wouldn't be possible without you and your input. So thank you to everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this sunny Wednesday afternoon. Thank you again for joining.